Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about some news that came out like a while ago, pretty much a week ago, but it came out during the week off and it's still something I wanted to talk about despite not really having that many thoughts enough to make a video on it then, but I'm making a video on it now. So this is obviously talking about the new decision to have the Coronation Street and Emmerdale episodes being released on YouTube before everything else. Now, it's been something I've been touting for years now, is that all soaps need to be more accessible. Because as much as you may want to suggest that having it on its own streaming service is important, I ultimately don't really know how important it is. And I suppose I'll read an article and then we can actually get into why I think this is a huge coup for EastEnders. Not EastEnders, for Coronation Street and Emmerdale. Just because, look, I like it and I appreciate that it's a thing, but also, I just have problems with ITVX. I'll say that much. Alright, so Coronation Street and Emmerdale to announce another huge change to episode releases. Changes are plenty. Coronation Street and Emmerdale have announced another huge change to their release strategies, with episodes now available to watch on YouTube. The respective ITV soaps release their episodes on ITVX at 7 AM before they are on television in the evening, with installments, albeit with a delay, also being able to watch on YouTube. Previous arrangements for episodes become available on the website a few days after their release on ITVX and airing on television, but a change starting from tomorrow will see the installments released on YouTube at the same time as the streaming service. Soap fans rejoice. Starting tomorrow, full episodes will be available on YouTube from 7 AM the same day they air on TV. Corrie, Emmerdale at ITV. Read a post on X to confirm the news. This move comes after announced crossover episode between Corrie and Emmerdale was in the works, but an hour-long special set to be a unique celebration of the genre. Okay, so obviously this comes. I didn't actually show the article. Oh well. This comes with the news that obviously a lot of things are intended to change. A lot of things are intended to change with ITV and their soaps, because at the end of the day, and I don't mean to keep like hitting this not dead horse, I don't mean to keep poking the bear here, but Coronation Street and Emmerdale have been in pretty rough places. Less so in Emmerdale, but also the main issue with Emmerdale is the audience doesn't really feel like the audience of Emmerdale grow. I feel like Emmerdale has a very, very strong core audience, but I don't really feel like it grows. Obviously, this could all be nonsense, but that's my take on it. But with Coronation Street, it's been in a bad place for a lot of years now, and I do still argue that it is getting better, but also at the same time, ITV is starting to reshuffle, and just generally, there's been a bit of an exodus in soap as of late. There's been a lot of soaps that, like Neighbours, like Hollyoaks, which is struggling. A lot of people are deciding that soap experiment is over. You could just make a mini-series and that would be fine. But instead you're paying, 70 actors, pretty hefty salary to appear in as many episodes as you can. Like, it's not a very sustainable business model, and it is hard to monetize soap. And it is, at the end of the day. I mean, as a channel who tries to monetize soap, it's pretty hard to monetize soap. So, and it's not like you merchandise it, you just have to put it out there and you hope that you keep the core audience. And, Coronation Street and Emmerdale do have very strong core audiences. Whenever you look at the totals, you always typically see that, they have a really strong set of fandom, and they always have pretty high numbers on ITVX. And I suppose I can just flash it up on screen now as a whole. But I mean, if we just take a look at the numbers that are being shown, 1 second. If we look at Emmerdale, alright, so full episode. Stash Gets Stolen, 1st of July, 19k views. Paddy Gets Attacked, Emmerdale full episode, 33k views. Where's the next one? Robert Offers to Buy Mora's Land, 50k views. Now, if we take a very skewed metric of like CPM, I'm pretty sure, and obviously this isn't representative of everyone's because this is just mine. This is just our channels, but like if we take it I think the CPM for soap-based content, it isn't that high. But typically, or at least in my experience, you get like £3 per 1k views. So if you take all of the numbers, so you have what, 53k, 19k, and 33k, that's what, 86, that's like 105k views. 105 times 3, roughly, $300. All monetized, all stuff that you can make money from. Coronation Street. 26k views. 21k views. And where is the other episode? One, two. Is the other one not on? Ah, well. But, you know, still, point being, still pretty good. I mean, I can even... wrong overlay. I can even look at Hollyoaks and what Hollyoaks numbers are like. And it kind of just proves the point that this is actually a really good move. And I'll get into this point in a second. I just want to kind of show the Hollyoaks example. So Emmerdale's viewership numbers are a lot higher than expected. I'll say that much. They are pretty unexpected. Okay, Hollyoaks, 5k views, 5k views, 6k views, 3k views. So yeah, obviously, in terms of intrigue, there's a lot more for Coronation Street and Hollyoaks, right? Not Coronation Street and Emmerdale, rather. So a much stronger core audience. And the other thing with soap that I've been saying this whole time is soaps are addictive, and soaps are really, really easy to get into and just blitz through a lot of it, right? But the biggest issue with soaps is all of the soaps are pretty much kept to a very limited streaming service. Now, I don't know if those episodes go out like globally, like Hollyoaks do, but I also will say everything's on a streaming service. You can't use BBC iPlayer if you're not in the UK. I don't know if you can use ITVX if you're not in the UK. So if everything has a streaming service, nobody really uses it. And there's also another thing, is that streaming services, the advertising for said shows are really, really lazy. Like, ITV sets out these 15-second adverts that don't show you anything. Like, surely you've got to actually do something else. Surely you've got to do something to get you excited and get you to want to watch it. But no, you don't. You just put out these shit 15-second adverts. Now, and the issue with that, and the issue with it in general, is I hear a lot of people do watch classic Coronation Street on, well, like ITV Gold? Not Channel 5 Gold? I don't know. Whatever the UK TV Gold. A lot of people do watch classic Coronation Street. It's a really addictive thing to get into because you can watch it at a time where you thought it was better. And the biggest issue with soaps is the lack of accessibility. And the real question that I've always posed, I know that there's media rights, but why on earth would you let other people upload all these big storylines that are really big and important? And why would you do that? And why would you not just upload it yourself? Simply saying, why would you not upload it yourself? And I know there's a bunch of like different ideas for it, but I mean, take Coronation Street, right? There is a YouTube channel called Corrie Platfan. And let's just take a look at the general numbers. 20k subscribers. Richard Hillman's storyline, 129k views. Sarah Platt, 50k views. Helen Worth, 35k views. Sarah Platt, 283k. I mean, we just go to most popular. David Platt, 2007, 2.5 million. David Platt, 2006, 1.5 million. David Platt, 2007, 1.3 million. 1.3 million, and then it kind of goes just below 1 mil. Like, you could be uploading this. You could be doing this yourself. I know it would take, like, you know, just get someone to upload all the YouTube videos. It's what you do. And it makes it accessible, and this is how a lot of people become fans of the show, because they see one character grow, and then they maybe go, you know what, maybe I actually want to see these other characters, or maybe they don't. Maybe they just watch that one character, but it's still an important thing to be able to do, because the issue with soap is it's purely just not accessible, because it's such an overwhelming feat of attention to actually attract, and not many people actually set down and set aside that time to get invested and actually become a fan. So, by putting this all up on YouTube, and I know this has been a bit of a weird ramble, but I hope my point's been made succinct. Putting this up on YouTube makes it a really succinct way to actually gain more traction. It does. It really does. Because YouTube is a really growing platform. Is ITVX a growing platform? I don't think so. Most people use ITVX out of necessity. But, and yeah, sure, you may lose a bit on advertising, but also, I think, you can get mid-rolls on YouTube. You can get pretty heavy advertisements on YouTube. I think it'll be interesting to see. Now, I don't know if it's how it works, but it'll be interesting if they premiered it on YouTube at the same time. And you get ads whilst you premiere, and live streaming ads on YouTube are fucking crazy. As someone who's done it, it's insane. It is insane. And it'll make a fun little chat that everybody can talk in and everybody can kind of engage with it. And it starts your own little community. I've been saying this for so long that soaps need to adapt to the future. And the future at some point has been streaming. But if everybody has a streaming service, nobody has a streaming service. Are you really putting ITVX up there with Netflix, Disney Plus, and whatever other streaming services you use? No, you're not. You're not, because it's not that good. And even if it is that good, the players are a bit shit, and it's filled with adverts, and you're not going to watch it. But if you can find a way to watch it without needing ads, and without needing all this extra, nonsense. I mean, one of the biggest issues I had when I was trying to get into Coronation Street is it's a 45-minute episode, but with 15 minutes of ads. Now, if you're just trying to binge it and get through it, you gotta fucking sit through all those ads. I don't want to sit through 15 minutes of ads when I'm just trying to watch when I'm trying to binge Coronation Street. It nearly made me not watch the show. So now, eliminating that possibility makes it really, really accessible. And accessibility is what gatekeeps soap and gatekeeps soap fans. And by allowing this open to hopefully be global. It's like Neighbours, right? Neighbours was put on YouTube, but I'm pretty sure Neighbours, they did full episodes, but you could only watch them in Australia. And it was really upsetting because you get excited to watch Neighbours, and obviously at this point now, I'm pretty sure you can go ahead and watch some of the different seasons. I'm pretty sure the Neighbours official channel has actually become something of a dump of just actual Neighbours episodes. But the problem is it's a very big struggle to find all these soaps. And if you want to binge it all. You don't want to miss out. You want to actually take the time to figure out where it goes. I'm really stumbling my word. I'm getting distracted by it, but there's too many things going on in my brain. But basically, the summary is if you make them accessible, it means that there is the potential to grow. And by putting them out on YouTube, there's a much wider potential audience than it is on your little streaming service that not many people actually like to use. At the end of the day, not many people like to use it. You still get the ad money from ITV. You still get that money. That's fine. And now you can get that YouTube ad revenue instead. Make some shorts out of it. I still think that all the soap YouTube channels are doing it wrong. But this being now a choice that they make, I think is very important, because at the end of the day, we need to make soaps more accessible and we need to keep growing the audiences, because if the audience falls off, what else does soap have? What else does it have? It's a dying art. I don't believe it's necessarily dying, but it's definitely losing a lot of its luster. And I think that's a big problem. I think it truly is a big problem. And I am worried for the future of soap. But by making these adjustments and actually trying to make a concerted effort to kind of build for the future, we now have to acknowledge that maybe it's now time to open up the avenue and hopefully gain more viewers and gain more people. So yeah. But also I did it wrong. Advertisers, for me, in the last 28 days, pay £5.63 per 1K view. So times 50K times 5. You know what I mean? Like 50 times 5, that's 250 quid. Easy. And that's free money. It's free money. You own the rights. You own the deals. Go ahead and do it. So hopefully, and obviously the numbers will probably peak early on, but it's a good way to sustain viewers and make sure that it's more accessible. Because nobody really when we're in the current like state of play where nobody really wants to sit through ads anymore. And if we can avoid them, we absolutely fucking will. But yeah, so a big victory for Coronation Street and a big W for Emmerdale. I am happy that they've taken this approach. I still think there's a lot more to go in terms of what they could do. I still think they need to upload full storylines and at least upload full episodes online. And then we can finally start to talk, and they can finally realize that the way to get into soap is to watch more. And if you have to watch a dodgy 480p version, probably going to be a little bit less inclined. There is a bit of a barrier to entry. So at the end of the day, making them more accessible means a whole lot more for the future, and hopefully means that we don't have to, deal with ITVX's bullshit ads anymore. Anyways, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.